Welcome back to Casting Confidential. Today we're bringing you a bonus round taken from a Q&A with our panelists Cheryl Louden-Kubin, Kimberly Skyrme, Robin Carus, and Kimberly Ehrlich that we did for our members. We're doing these along with feedback sessions monthly with our community, and we're loving seeing the actors. Hit the link in show notes to join us, but for now, enjoy this bonus episode. Looking to land your next big role? Casting Networks is where more high-quality roles are booked than any other casting service. With an annual membership, you'll unlock every tool you need to stand out. Unlimited headshots and reels, submission tracking, even the chance to link your socials and showcase your personal brand. On the go, the Casting Network's iOS app makes it easy to find and submit to roles anytime, anywhere. Right now, Casting Confidential listeners get $65 off an annual membership. Just use code CONFIDENTIAL at checkout or try it free for 14 days. Head to castingnetworks.com/confidential and get ready to get noticed. But hurry, this offer won't last long. And with that, let's jump right into today's show.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Casting Confidential. Today we have another great bonus episode for you with our panelists, Robin Carus, Cheryl Louden-Kubin, and Kimberly Skyrme. Today, I don't know what we've gotten ourselves into, but we're going to talk about the future of casting as we know it, this moment. We're just giving you our opinions, and I just wanted you guys to be in our conversation. So make sure after this episode, if you have comments and questions, hit us up on socials, hit us up here in the episode. I want to know, because we don't necessarily know the future of casting, but it is our business, and I know it has to do with you, our listeners. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Cheryl, I know you have some stuff on your mind. Let's talk about it.
I do. Casting has become quite technical in the last, really since the pandemic, I think, and even before. Where it's more important for a casting person to be able to be tech savvy and to be able to push all the right buttons and upload here, and for the actors as well. It's become quite technical. And I don't know necessarily that that's a good thing, because anybody can push a button and anybody can post a breakdown and anybody can do casting, really. Now, what comes into play is the gray matter between our ears, is the history that we have had in casting, knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, knowing how to choose the sides, knowing how to present the talent, knowing how to choose the talent. I think that it's a good thing in that we can see way more people than we could before in the room. So, and an agent, instead of me saying, I've got five principal parts for this role or for this commercial, say, I can only see 15 people per role in the day. This is back in the day when we could see you in the room. I'm only going to give an agent one slot, right? Because I have 15 SAG agents, say, to that. So I'm only going to give you one slot. So that agent can only send one person. Now they can send 100 people. They can submit 100 people.
All of them, every person.
Exactly. You get an audition. And so I think that that's a positive thing for the actor and the agent, and even for us, because we get to go through and pick and choose who we want to present or who we want to ask to tape or who we want to book. But it's become so technical that I know producers post their own breakdowns now. So that kind of takes us out of the loop, unfortunately. So I really don't know what the future of casting is going to be.
Okay. What do you think, just to expand upon that a little bit, what do you think makes it, I mean, you talked about gray matter, but what do you think we bring to it other than gray matter and technical skills? Like, like you said, anybody can learn that. And anybody maybe can learn casting, although I think personally we're kind of like artists. It's like you can learn it, but it takes a little bit longer than learning how to push a button on a computer, possibly.
I I think that the art of casting has to innately be in you. It's an interesting blend of person. We are artists, yet we are business people. We are negotiators. We are purveyors of talent. We have an eye for discovery. And I think that whether your project is, whether you are mostly doing commercial work, or you are doing theater, or you are doing verticals, or you are doing, film, independent or otherwise, you know, you have the eye for what that genre needs. And I think that people forget because you work on one thing when you're in college, it does not make you the casting director. It piques your interest for sure, but it doesn't make you that. And I think that the interesting thing about the people that we are colleagues with have been doing this for many years and have, started in a mailroom or at the bottom as an assistant, or have worked their way from intern to assistant to associate and then some. And so you have to remember that there's growth. And so, but you should always be on the fast track to learning because that's what keeps this industry alive. It's the art of how you learn, you know?
So I
What
love that you talked about the business. And I think because we are business people, what I like to tell my clients who are thinking about whether or not to use a casting director, whether or not to spend the money, it's like I like to tell them we save them more money than we spend them. Because the little known fact is we do a lot of the negotiations. Our name is attached to the breakdown, and those agents know that we have
Credibility.
scoured the project. We have had the discussions to make sure that the actors are taken care of, that they have a proper hotel room, all the things. And that actually can very often, in fact, I'd say most of the time, save the production money, not spend it. So please, 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 that's, I think, the future of casting. If we can raise the awareness that we are actually good for the business, that we put the best talent on the screen, that that's where your money should go, and that even spending money on us, you may not be actually spending any money. I think that's the thing I'd like to, send out in the stratosphere. What do you guys think?
Well, it's definite. I mean, we are 50% creative, 50% logistic
Sure.
negotiators, just business people. And if you don't have both of those, it does become a very challenging job for you because you may be heavy in one and not as heavy in the other. Certainly, I was very heavy on the creative side in the early days of my career and had to, muddle my way through the business side of it, but I was very logistically oriented so I could organize all of it. And I always refer to myself as an artist. People will be in certain artistic circles. Are you an artist? Yes, just a different kind. People are my medium. So understanding people and not just how people look, but how people operate. We often are delving far more into the psychology of who it is that we're hiring with you, particularly in independent film, that you need to be hiring a team player. Maybe the best actor isn't the best team player. So for an independent production, we know who those people are. So we're going to curate talent for you that are going to be a part of your team, not just an A plus in that role. So we're doing a lot more of just human community building than people are giving us credit for. That in the old days, and that is why people miss the room because we were able to have that connection. But your auditions are speaking for you. And now in callbacks, we're seeing you in Zoom. We're doing that same type of work on understanding who you are, how you operate, and how you're going to be a part of the team. These are all intellectual property skills that you can't learn everywhere. So to Cheryl's point, yes, there is now a lot of button pushing, but you cannot take away the years of experience, the
Right.
theater we've all attended,
Right.
every audition tape that we've watched, every audition room that we have sat in. And for those of us who've studied theater ourselves, whether we were good at acting or not, for every acting class we had, for every scene I've directed, for all of these things, that is a lot of talent that you're bringing to the table. And with the actors being on the screen, that is one of the most important things on the screen. I don't care how great your lenses are. Also, producer, I know the glass is important, but if the acting is terrible, I don't care how good your movie looks. Nobody's watching. You will not get credit for something people don't enjoy. They're not noticing the cinematography if they can't bear the acting because they close the movie. They walk out of the theater. So the actors are so important, and the runway to the actors is casting. So how can you omit a critical piece of storytelling?
I love
And
that.
and to speak to our credibility, I will have actors who say, "Oh, I see your name on the breakdown, and I know it's going to be a good project. I know
And
you
there it
vetted
is.
the producers. I know that we're
Yeah.
going to get paid."
Yep.
That's it.
And I
We've
actually
all
did
heard
have,
that, and it's true.
Yeah.
and I did have a director who hired me that said she felt more interest in her project after she'd hired a casting director. She was chugging along to try to get all the money and do different things. And once she had somebody who legitimized her production by saying, I want to help you find people to make your production better, that she was treated differently after the fact. So again, we're another accreditation that you have now to your production.
I think the other interesting thing about our job is that we have to, when we are hired, we have to mitigate the expectations of our directors and producers. Because if there's only X amount of budget, right? Then you have to, then when they want all of the celebrities, as they are all want to have, and you have to say, but you can't afford it, it's just not what
But
this.
my script is the best in the universe.
Yes.
There's a million of those.
And I want to do it non-union.
Yes. This. Yeah, you got to budget
Then
that
you're like,
stuff
but
ahead
there
of
are
time.
not non-union celebrities. Are you sure? Yeah, positive. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you guys say to just a tiny thing at the end here? Somebody who just wants to like go on AI and say, "What's the best cast for my project?" What do you think that's going to help them? Do you think?
Good
I
luck.
mean, I use AI a lot. I'm just going to be honest with that. But
Oh, yeah, I have to give a shout out to my sister who is a consultant, and man, she gave me the AI primer because that's a real huge piece of what
Yeah.
she's working on now in big business. And it is absolutely something we need to understand. But again, if you don't know how to use the tool, it's our intellectual property, which is fed into the tool that makes it better. So even if you do it yourself and you don't know how to fine tune and you're taking away the artistry of a human being. It will
Right.
never replace that 100%, ever,
Well
ever,
said.
ever.
It's an interesting thing because in the film Hidden Figures, for example, they have these human think tanks. And we are those human think tanks. And the interesting thing is, because we are constantly on the search for discovery, what you'll never get from AI is you'll never get both the past, the present, and the future. That's what you won't get when you talk about the future. What does that look like? Because we're discovering the future, you know?
Right.
We have
Yeah,
these
they can't anticipate that actor you cast from a theater production that you saw at a college now onto an off-Broadway show. AI isn't there.
No.
And so if Kimberly or Cheryl or I or you are to say to our clients, trust me, this is the person you want in the room. They're going to be a something,
That's it.
that's it. Done
That's
and
And
everything.
I just got chills when you said that because there was no greater joy. I'm sure I can speak for all of us when you were introducing somebody who's new and they don't know because they've only had small roles. I am working on
Love
a
that.
horror film right now, and it was loaded up with obviously people who've already been successful in horror, but there's the leading female role. Which, because we have enough people around it, we don't have to cast it with a name. And I am over the moon that I get to give all of these young 20-something females an opportunity to maybe be the next thing, because that's often what horror movies do for people. So the joy and excitement in my voice is exactly why you should be hiring casting, because AI is not this excited to let those 20-something girls audition for this movie.
No, it's true. It's true. We bring it to you. We absolutely do. So I love this episode. Listen, all I can say to our listeners is share this with every director and producer you know.
Yeah.
Hire professional casting directors. I hope this is, as intended, a commercial for casting. And you guys are the greatest, and hire professional casting directors. And the last thing I'm going to say to producers and directors listening to this is, it doesn't cost a dime to pick up the phone and ask us how much we cost to cast your project. So do it. Do it. Call
Yeah.
any of us, call any casting director, anybody at all. We're all members of the CSA. We're proud of that. And other organizations. So listen, call us, call a professional casting director. You guys, thank you so much. This was another great bonus episode of Casting Confidential. Don't forget to like, rate, and review. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. That's a wrap on today's episode of Casting Confidential. If you're loving the show, here's what you need to do. Follow us right now on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling inspired, take a minute to leave us a rating and review. It's the best way to help us grow and keep bringing you these behind-the-scenes stories. Join the conversation with us on Instagram at Casting Confidential and drop us your thoughts or questions. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your craft sharp and your audition sharper. See you back here for another episode of Casting Confidential.
One of the greatest podcasts in television and film with Rose Rosen, CSA, and all the friends. Bringing you Casting Confidential. Casting, that's essential. Casting, so eventful. Turn and tune in to close friends, chilling with Rose. We call it Casting Confidential. Get a notepad ready, grab a pen and pencil. For magic to jot down, tell a friend too. A wonderful podcast in TV and film. We call it Casting Confidential. Let's go.